Yesterday morning, Mike Pence, Vice President, appeared on CBS News, partly to talk about Donald Trump's State of the Union address from the night before, and partly to talk about the wall. You know, the wall. Mike Pence is out there saying, doing Trump's work for him, saying we got to have this wall. And if Democrats basically don't give up everything and cave into Donald Trump, we're going to have another government shutdown at the end of next week. You know, we got, 7, 8 days now to come up with a deal, or else Mike Pence assures us we're going to have another government shutdown. And he worded it, pretty interestingly. He said, the Democrats have to come together and they've got to work with the president and give him what he needs in order for the Democrats to avoid shutting down the government again. So he framed it as a Democratic problem. Smart, guy's pure evil, but again, smart move when you're trying to avoid blame for something. But he wants us to believe that it's the Democrats that are doing this. The Democrats are the ones shutting down the government again. Federal workers are about to go even longer without paychecks. Air traffic controllers, TSA agents, FBI agents, you guys are all about to not get paid. National park employees, you're probably just now starting to get all that garbage picked up from the month the government was shut down. Well, guess what? It's going to start piling up again and you still can't do your actual job. Hundreds of thousands of federal workers right now terrified over the thought of another government shutdown. And here Mike Pence is going on CBS basically threatening to do it unless Democrats completely give up their ambitions and cave to Donald Trump. Well, here's the thing that Mike Pence doesn't want to know. He knows it, but he doesn't want to know it. And that is that more than 60% of people in this country do not want the border wall. They didn't. They don't. They will not want it. So a majority of people in this country don't want the wall. An even bigger majority don't want to see the federal government get shut down again. And let's not forget that Republicans this week actually voted down a measure that would give most of the furloughed workers back pay for the time the government was shut down. Republicans don't want to pay those people. This is a Republican problem. The Democrats, to their credit, are doing what the public wants. The public doesn't want a wall, so Democrats aren't going to give them the money for it. That's representative government at its finest, folks. That's what the government's supposed to do. Look at what the people say and then say, okay, this is what you want us to do, then this is what we'll do. Mike Pence doesn't understand that because Mike Pence is in government for Mike Pence. Same thing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump's in government to benefit himself, not the American public. And he also has to avoid pissing off Ann Coulter again because God knows that's going to end in disaster. At the end of the day, here's the thing. Democrats are not going to give Republicans the money for the wall. Republicans are going to end up shutting down government again. And in order to avoid all the public backlash, eventually Donald Trump is going to declare a national emergency. At that point, we enter a constitutional crisis. This, whether or not the president can issue a national emergency for something like this, goes to the courts. And we let the chips fall where they may. Either they rein in the powers of the president, which is sorely needed, not just for Trump, but for all presidents, or they say, nope, you're virtually a dictator. You can do whatever the hell you want. This doesn't end well for anybody, no matter which way it goes. Well, unless they do rein in the powers of the president, but given the conservative majority in the judiciary, I don't know that that's possible. But again, Democrats are actually standing up for the people here. Mike Pence is trying to stand up to the guy, or for the guy, who's just afraid of Ann Coulter. Which side of this fight do you really want to be on? I'm going to go with the Democrats on this one, rather than the guy sucking up to the guy who's trying to suck up to one of the worst, most hate-filled pundits on the conservative side. One of today's video sponsors is Blinkist.com/Ring of Fire. Blinkist.com is a website, an app that actually takes nonfiction books and condenses them into very short reads or 15-minute audiobooks. The first 100 users right now who go to Blinkist.com/Ring of Fire are going to get a 7-day free trial. That's 7 days to browse through Blinkist's entire library and download, read however many you want during that free trial period. And then after that, using that Blinkist.com/Ring of Fire link that's in the description of this video, you'll get 25% off your membership. Here's what's so great about this. You can listen to a 15-minute audiobook on your way to work. And Blinkist.com condenses these, takes the key points, the vital information that you need to know, and gives it to you in this easily digestible format. It's perfect, especially in my line of work when I have to go through books at breakneck speed just to be able to get the information. Blinkist.com does it for you and delivers it to you in these very quick and easy links. Here's the thing. Only the first 100 users are going to get that 7-day free trial, so make sure you click on that link to sign up. Blinkist.com/ringofire.